privilege to have him, the Minister in charge of the Ramakrishna Vedanta Centre, UK, among us. Your profound spiritual insights and dedicated service have been a guiding light for many on their spiritual journeys. As we come together to celebrate Maha Kali Puja, we are filled with gratitude for the opportunity to receive your wisdom and blessings. Your presence adds a divine touch of our festivities, and we are eager to absorb the spiritual nourishment that your speech will undoubtedly provide. Your teachings have the power to inspire, to uplift, and deepen our connection with the divine. May Maha Kali's blessings be with you as you share your spiritual wisdom with our community. We look forward to a transformative and enlightening discourse that will resonate with the hearts of all your presence. A heartfelt welcome to Swami Sarbeshananda. সবাইকে অনুরোধ করা হচ্ছে নীরবতা রক্ষা করার জন্য সকলকে অনুরোধ করা হচ্ছে নীরবতা রক্ষা করার জন্য
Though I was requested to speak on Vedanta, but we cannot separate Vedanta and mother worship because they are integral parts of our great Indian culture. India is the oldest culture which recognized God as the mother. You cannot imagine the Semitic religions even conceiving that God can be addressed as the mother. For them, God is always the father. Though a lot of feminist movements, especially after the World War II, the women felt that they are being sidelined. In the sense, it's a male-dominated world. And history has not been very kind to women, the feminine. And even in religion, in society, in socio-economic development, obviously, this gender bias was there. But even in religion, it was sort of male-dominated in the West, in the Semitic religions especially, where God is always the father. But India never accepted that. Even before the Vedas, Vedas are the oldest extant scriptures. Even before the Rig Veda, in Rig Veda you will find references to mother worship, where God is addressed as a goddess. Different forms of the goddess have been accepted by our culture since time immemorial. So India is the only country which has given to this world the idea of God as mother. It's a very significant thing because you cannot deny half the population of the world, almost half, their divine right to have some kind of gender bias. Socio-economic equality is what the Western women or the Western civilization tried to establish. We had some women, especially after the Second World War, who expressed their desire, the feminist movement of Betty Friedan in America, and also in England and Europe. They tried to fight for their own rights and have some kind of gender equality. But that was restricted to socio-economic and political sphere. They wanted voting rights, they wanted an equal opportunity along with men to contribute to society, financially, economically, socially. They felt left out. History was not very kind to them. But for India, it was not a new thing. In the Vedas, a woman is known as Sahadharmini. The word Sahadharmini means when somebody is married to someone, a woman is married, she has an equal responsibility in the following of dharma. Dharma means a way of life. It's not just religion, it means everything. That which upholds society. So if a Sahadharmini, a woman was supposed to be a Sahadharmini not only in the house, in the homes, but also in society, also in every sphere of life. That was, I'm talking of the pre-Vedic or Vedic age, where every woman who is a representation of Shakti in the Indian tradition, God is not only the father but is also the mother, and is also beyond any gender, that is Brahman. That is when we come to Vedanta, they say there cannot be a feminine or a masculine. They speak of Brahman as it. It's genderless. I mean, there's no gender in that. But when we come to the world, when we come to the practical world, a world in which we live in, a world in which we live and die, and make so many efforts to develop ourselves, and we call it progress. If we think we are socially or economically or even politically able to dominate the rest of the world. But it has been a male domination, always. It's always been the case, if you see the history of the Western world especially. Even in India, when in Rigveda though the woman is known as Sahadharmini and she was given equal respect, God the Father and God the Mother were not distinguished. That's why we find the history of mother worship, if you just see the history of mother worship, Durga Puja, as you all know, has been considered by the UNESCO as a heritage celebration. It's a very, very old festival, more as old as our Vedas. It's not a Puranic goddess that we worship. This idea of Shakti had its roots in the oldest religious scripture of the world, that is Rig Veda, where Shakti, where the Divine Mother, or Shakti as she is popularly known, is expressing, and she says, in and through every endeavor, every activity, material or spiritual, I exist. I pervade everyone, everything that you see in this universe. So when we come to Vedanta, even the great Shankaracharya, who believed in Brahman, a genderless, a formless reality, even he wrote so many hymns. You may ask, how can a person who believes in a formless God, a God without form, that's what Advaita preaches. But even Shankaracharya, if you see Bhavani Astakam, there are so many hymns on the Divine Mother. And even he had to take recourse to the worship of Goddess, without whose grace the Advaitic realization, the spiritual realization is not possible. So in our own time, we find Sri Ramakrishna, all of you know, all of you have heard about Sri Ramakrishna. He started his spiritual journey by worshipping Maha Kali in Dakshineshwar. In fact, that was a turning point in the history of the world. I'm repeating, it was a turning point not only in the history of India, but of the entire world. And I'm not saying this, Swami Vivekananda once said, the purpose of Sri Ramakrishna's birth was to revive the power of divine motherhood, to revive Shakti in the world, not just India. India, of course, believed in Shakti, but for some reasons, some political reasons, some social reasons, women were neglected. And that is why we were conquered by so many colonial powers. And finally England established a colonial rule. And Vivekananda says that is because we neglected Shakti, we neglected the worship of the Divine Mother. He did not refer to the pujas. Pujas were going on. In those days also there was everywhere in the world. But the significance of Mother worship, the significance of Kali worship was not known to the world. So Sri Ramakrishna had to come and show what true worship Kali Puja is. It's in this context, it's a wonderful thing that we are trying to revive, but we have to understand the spirit behind it. And when we read the wonderful life of Sri Ramakrishna, for whom Kali was not just a goddess among the hundreds and thousands of goddesses. Hindus are perplexed when Western people, especially our modern children, when they are asked, why do you have so many gods and goddesses, don't you get confused? Why do you worship them? We are unable to answer. We think it's a cultural event, it's a social event. No, absolutely not. It is Sri Ramakrishna who came and showed that it is the Divine Mother who pervades the whole universe, the concept of Shakti. And Vivekananda says, had he not come, had he not incarnated, this idea of God the Mother, the Divine Motherhood of God, the divinity as feminine, would not have spread throughout the world. It would not be wrong to say, though he passed away in 1886, it took a lot of time. And all the feminist movements that you see in the world, and women coming up in socio-economic fields and also political fields, you will be surprised to know that when Swami Vivekananda visited London, there was a lady, Mrs. Martin, she was married to an English man, and she was an American woman. And see the irony, she could stand because the Constitution of America allowed her to contest the presidential election, but she had no voting rights. Can things be more ridiculous than this? You can stand as a candidate for the US presidential election, and you have no right to vote. It's only recently, many years later, when she came to England and they fought for voting rights. So there was so much of gender inequality. And to set it right, Sri Ramakrishna came as an illiterate priest. He was not an illiterate priest. From the worldly point of view, he was illiterate. But he came with a great mission to revive the worship of Shakti, to revive the motherhood aspect of God. Not only for India, because India already believed in God as the mother, though they did not understand the significance of that. But it was Sri Ramakrishna who pointed out to the Western world the fallacy of considering God only as Father, whereas we have a very old history of mother worship, whether it is Durga Puja, Kali Puja, Jagadhatri Puja. There are so many pujas, especially in Bengal and other states. It's there everywhere. The idea of mother worship in South India also you will find. And in fact, if you see, even all the incarnations, even Sri Ramchandra, before he went to fight with Ravana, he had to worship Durga before he went there. So this Shakti, the grace of Shakti as an essential aspect of our life, whatever form of Shakti you accept, these are different aspects of the same Divine Mother who assumes different roles. So to understand, Sri Ramakrishna introduced a new thing. Vedantins were very dry people. They thought it's all superstition. In fact, if you see the early history of Bengal, even the Brahmo Samaj, Jagdish Chandra Bose and others, Sister Nivedita was a great lover of Maha Kali. So they were surprised because the Brahmos did not believe in those days. They thought it's a horrible form. How strange it was that they said We have nothing to do with you. A person, such an educated person like Jagdish Chandra Bose, told Sister Nivedita, if you disassociate with this Kali Puja, because you are teaching, giving a wrong message to society. This is told by Indians, can you imagine? And Sri Ramakrishna had to revive the whole idea, the sanctity of Kali Puja or Durga Puja and all the goddesses that we worship. It's not that we worship Krishna, we worship Rama everywhere, but mother worship is an Indian speciality. And that is why wherever you go, especially if you see the Bengali diaspora, wherever you go, Durga Puja and all these come very naturally to Indians. And it's very difficult for people of other culture to even conceive, to understand what is the concept of Kali. So somebody, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, if you see, he was asked many questions, especially most of his devotees, including Keshav Chandra Sen. Though officially they were not supposed to accept gods and goddesses, they thought we worship a formless God, as some of the other religions do. They don't believe in Murti Puja or worshipping God in an image. And that's okay. Sri Ramakrishna even had good relationship with this Brahmo devotees, Keshav Chandra Sen and others. So they used to very often come, the Brahmo devotees, and ask, why do we worship Mother Kali, such a figure? Without understanding the significance, they said, our Vedanta believes in worshipping the formless God. Why do we bring in so many forms? And it's so difficult, especially they wanted to convey to the Western world under whose influence they came. In fact, they tried to combine some elements of Islam, some elements of Christianity, and they said this is not the right way to worship. So many people ask, why is Mother Kali black? So if you see Sri Ramakrishna, if you see the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, in his colloquial Bengali, he says, it is because you are away from reality. And he gives such a wonderful example. He says, if you see water from a distance, it looks dark in color. But the nearer you go and take the water in your palms, it is colorless. So all these questions, why Krishna is blue and black, why is he dark, why is Kali's color black? So there are so many songs, all of you know Ram Prasad songs. Why is my mother Kali black? There are so many Bengali songs which have become immortal. Ram Prasad, Kamala Kanta, and all those wonderful songs where Ram Prasad himself is saying, I'm trying to figure out why my mother is black. So Sri Ramakrishna comes with a wonderful answer. She is black because you are away. Prakriti, in fact in Vedanta there are this concept of Purusha and Prakriti, the pure consciousness on one side and the manifested universe on the other side. So the Sankhya philosophy says, whatever you see in the world, whatever changes, is Prakriti or nature. The simplest word we can use is nature. So Prakriti is nature and she is a Shakti. It's always feminine. And Purusha is the pure consciousness. So Shiva and Shakti, Sri Ramakrishna used to say, they're not separate. They are two sides of the same coin. When we come to this world, when we see this universe of difference, Vedanta says it is Shakti, or Sri Ramakrishna said it is Shakti. Shankaracharya would say it is Maya. Whether it is Maya, whether it is Prakriti, whether it is Devi, whether it is Shakti. And one of the best books, we chant the Chandi. Many of us, for us it's a religious ritual to chant the Chandi. But if you read it deeply, if you understand the significance of the Devi Mahatmya, in South India it is also known as Devi Mahatmya. The same book, Durga Saptashati, or the Chandi, or even the Devi Mahatmya. Devi Mahatmya means the glory of the Divine Mother. So what was expressed in the Rig Veda you'll find expanded in this wonderful book, Chandi. It is as important as the Gita. Bhagavad Gita has 700 verses. This Devi Mahatmya or Chandi also has 700 verses. But we hardly bother to, we just chant it. But we don't bother to understand the deep significance. The whole different chapters, if you say, Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu, Shakti Rupena, different aspects of the mother have been described. So whenever we see these different aspects, which we see in and around us, and I'm referring to not only the good aspects, even the bad aspects. If we take reality as a whole, Prakriti is neither good nor bad. The moment we come to the relative world, that which is created has to be destroyed. So God can be a creator, God preserves, and God or goddess can destroy. So this was known to our Vedantists, this was known to our Vedic rishis, who described this goddess as one who creates, one who percolates this whole universe in different forms as different Shaktis. We have different aspects of Devi. Sarva Bhuteshu, Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu, Shakti Rupena Samstita, one who is established as power. So wherever we see glory, wherever we see power, it's a manifestation of that Shakti. There are different manifestations. Some are creative, some protect, and some are destructive as well. Because whatever is created has to be destroyed. That's the philosophy of whether you call it Maya or Prakriti. Nature cannot be indestructible. Whatever has been created has to have an end. So that divine aspect of the mother, Sri Ramakrishna so beautifully explained that she is Maya, but there are two types of Maya, Avidya Maya and Vidya Maya. When we worship Maha Kali, when the robbers and thieves, even they worship Maha Kali. There is a tradition, if you go to North India, even these dacoits and all, they worship Maha Kali in some destructive form. Because they believe that they will get success if they worship goddess in that form. So that is Avidya Maya, that is part of the same. Sri Ramakrishna said, if you use Shakti for wrong purposes, if you use power for destruction, that is Avidya Maya. That makes you more and more destructive, but that is also Shakti. But if we want spiritual development, there is Vidya Maya. He said the same mother who destroys can help you to get out of this bondage of the world. Vedanta, without the grace, if you see the theistic schools of Vedanta, which believe, even Shankaracharya says he's pleading. If you see all the stotras that he has composed, he says without Shakti's grace, without Maya's help, without Vidya Maya, without the grace of Vidya Maya, I cannot put an end to my suffering in this world. So it's a great theme when we worship Maha Kali, when we worship Durga, when we worship any Shakti. In fact, we are supposed to worship the Vidya Maya aspect of Shakti, not the destructive aspect. Because that will take us more and more into bondage. If we use power, if we use whatever we possess for the destruction of Prakriti, then Prakriti destroys us. So she can be destructive. Otherwise, somebody was asking that one of our direct disciples, he said, why do we have to recite this chanting? It's full of killing and what do we gain by this? The idea is that we have to understand truth. These are lessons which the Devi Mahatmya teaches us. The worship of Kali teaches us that if we worship the benign aspect, if we worship her as Vidya Maya, she will come to our rescue, she will protect us, she will do everything that is good for us. But at the same time, that is why they say when you do Kali Puja, most of us think it's an easy thing. They say it has to be done perfectly. It's not just a simple ceremony that we do. Whether it's Kali Puja, Durga Puja, one has to be very careful. When we do this puja, they say extra precautions. Why there is so much of paraphernalia and so much of effort put into this simple worship? It's not like any other puja, because we are touching fire. Fire is Shakti. Fire and its burning power. Sri Ramakrishna used to say the burning power belongs to Shakti. Fire may be Brahman, he may be Purusha, he may be Shiva. But the power behind the burning power is Shakti. So we have to be very careful. Fire can be used for a good purpose, it can destroy us also. So when we do puja, we have to superimpose. As Sri Ramakrishna said, many people, especially the Brahmos, used to tell, why do you worship this terrible form of Maha Kali? They say the same thing about Shiva also. He is the Lord of destruction. Why not worship Brahma? Why not worship Vishnu? But they don't understand that it's not the destructive aspect of God or Goddess that we need to worship. Vedanta says the divine can act in both ways. The same fire which can help you to cook food can be used to destroy, can be used to burn. So it's not the fault of the fire. So Shakti is there to help us. Shakti is always there. If you understand the true significance of Shakti Puja, there's a nice book. If those who know Bengali, there's of course a Hindi translation available. Swami Sarvasthananda was a disciple of Sri Ma Sharda Devi, the spiritual consort of Sri Ramakrishna. He wrote a beautiful book, Bharate Shakti Puja. It's in Bengali. In Hindi it is Bharat Mein Shakti Puja. So he's given the whole history. What do you mean? What is the significance of worship of the Divine Mother? With what attitude we should worship her? How do we approach the Mother? Of course, for Sri Ramakrishna, the Mother was just simply something similar to a human mother. He did not have all these different attitudes. His relationship with Mother was, I am the child and she is the mother. That is the best attitude. According to Sri Ramakrishna, he said, Matri Bhav Sreshta Bhav. She is a mother. A mother can never be bad to a child. As Shankaracharya also says, though he did not believe in God with form, he says there can be a bad child, but there cannot be a bad mother. Whether the child is good or bad, the mother is always kind to the child. Whether he is good or bad, there can be a kuputra, but there cannot be a kumata. That is what Shankaracharya says. So that is the spirit with which we ought to worship. It's one of the most important points to remember, whether we do Kali Puja or any other puja, or even worshipping God as Krishna or any other, because avatars, whichever avatara you worship, Sri Ramakrishna said their incarnations are always of Shakti. Any manifestation that you see, whether it is a male deity or a female deity, they are all representations of Shakti. Shakti avatar. Sri Ramakrishna in his gospel in simple Bengali said, avatara is always of Shakti. Without Shakti you cannot have an incarnation. So whatever manifestation you see in the world, avatarana, when God, Brahman himself, comes down to rescue humanity, to show us the way, he takes the help of Shakti. So that is why he said, or Vivekananda once said, that this time he brought Ma Sharada with him. He did not come alone. And Swami Vivekananda asks, why did he pass away in 1886? and live. Maha Sharda Devi, she died in 1920, almost 34 years. He said in this incarnation he came with a special mission to show that women can be gurus also. You had perhaps never heard, history had never heard of a women's monastic order. He said if women can fight for their rights, can fight for the socio-economic, political rights, and try to compete with men, why not in the spiritual field? Imagine a situation where the Pope is a woman. Can you imagine? But Sri Ramakrishna said, why not? Holy Mother Sharda Devi, his spiritual consort, she said, because the society was male dominated even in those days, especially in India. So Sri Ramakrishna said, I am going, but I am leaving behind all these disciples for you. So he said, I am a woman, what can I do? That was the idea. Then he said, no, you will do much more than what I did. So Vivekananda says, that is the reason why he left her behind. That why it should be a prerogative of male to become gurus? Why can't a woman become a guru? Why should they be denied spiritual leadership? They may have economic leadership, they may have political leadership, they can become prime ministers. But why not a spiritual leader? So Swami Vivekananda, when he came to England, there were two feminists very active, Henrietta Muller from Oxford, who wanted Swamiji to help her, and Sister Nivedita was of course there, but Henrietta Muller believed that once we get voting rights, once we get political and economic rights, we can fight and we can establish equality in society. We can compete with men. Of course that happened. But Vivekananda told us that that is not enough. You may be equal socio-politically or socio-economically. You can compete with men, but your equality will be complete only when you are spiritually empowered. So true women's empowerment or true empowerment is to recognize the Shakti in women. And Sri Maha Sharda Devi lived for 34 years guiding not only women but also men and inspiring them to lead spiritual life. To inspire, she demonstrated what Vedanta was, which was the prerogative of men. People always believed that you had to go to a masculine or a male guru. But Sri Ramakrishna left her behind and said, no, you have to show to the world. And Vivekananda said, she in fact did infinitely more than what Sri Ramakrishna did to establish the motherhood of God, the motherhood, the Shakti, the importance of worshipping Shakti in our day-to-day life, in the true sense. Not just pujas. Pujas are necessary. They are the medium through which we approach Shakti. But the spirit behind that is to recognize the Shakti in the whole universe as a positive force to change society socially, economically, politically, and above all spiritually. So that's the idea, that's the great contribution. These pujas, Kali Puja, Durga Puja, and all the, I'm talking specifically of the Shakti Puja. The idea of Shakti Puja or Shakti worship is a very, very old concept in India. It's not new to Indians. But somehow down the line we forgot the true purpose and significance. So Sri Ramakrishna had to come and remind us, not only with his teachings, but also living behind Maha Sharda Devi to show that spirituality is not the exclusive privilege of men only. So that was Swami Vivekananda. That's why he gave so much of respect. Even when he went to America to participate in the Chicago Parliament of Religions, he said, no, unless I get permission from Holy Mother Sharda Devi, waited for a letter, said, if you permit me, if you bless me, then I will go, otherwise I will not go. He had so much respect because Sri Ramakrishna had told him that in this incarnation, his main purpose of worshipping Maha Kali in Dakshineshwar, in Bhavatarani in Dakshineshwar, was to revive the lost power of Shakti in our country. Not only in our country, but by that worship and by sending Swami Vivekananda and all other disciples to the Western world, he wanted to establish this great tradition where the idea of the feminine in spirituality, the divine feminine, the idea of mother worship can be revived in whatever form. It will take centuries. Recently I came across a Bible where, because of the pressure of women, wherever the word father is there, they will say God the Father and Mother. They were forced to change. There is an edition. You can you can see that copy. Even the Bible, they forced them. He said, why just the Father? God the Father and Mother. My God the Father and Mother. Not just the Father. So these ideas are taking some kind of, the influence is there. It will be so difficult to change thousands of years of male domination in every field, not only maybe in the political field, in the economic field, in social fields, women have established some sort of parity. But not in the spiritual field. People are still, if you see any other Semitic religion, there will be so much of opposition. If you say that tomorrow we want a woman to become a pope, it's unimaginable. But Sri Ramakrishna asked this question, Swami Vivekananda asked this question, why? When God himself incarnates, as we see in the Devi Mahatmya or Chandi, as a feminine, as a divine feminine power, a divine Shakti, and Shakti has been held in such great respect. And Vivekananda said, the downfall of India, why were we ruled by colonial powers, such a great and powerful country? He said, because you dishonored Shakti in your country. This Swami Vivekananda was very frank with the Indians. He said, you talk big things, but you never respected the Shakti in nature, especially in women. So because of that neglect, you lost, we suffered a lot. But then Sri Ramakrishna came to revive that. This wonderful idea of Kali Puja. I hope the organization of such pujas here, especially when you are planning to establish a Kali temple here, I am sure if we maintain that spirit and understand that it's the spiritual significance behind this puja, which will elevate this ritual, this great ritual. It has been evolved after thousands and thousands of years. Don't think it's a recent puja. Durga Puja is as ancient as the Vedas. So wherever you go, you will find, no matter how modern people become, these pujas are revived. But only thing is, behind the revival, we have to understand the spirit, why our society emphasized on the importance that one should give to Shakti. Shakti is the whole, the other form of Prakriti actually, the nature. The very nature in its structure. If we want any kind of empowerment, it is through this worship of the divine feminine, that is Shakti. So on this auspicious occasion of Diwali or the Kali Puja, which will be followed by the Diwali celebrations, we have a wonderful tradition, and I wish that the organizers who have taken so much of effort to invite all of you to participate in this wonderful celebration. Take this opportunity to just rethink, just go glance through our history and find out what is it that Kali Puja should do in our lives. How can we use these pujas and the worship of Mother Kali or any other Shakti to transform our own lives so that we can lead a peaceful, successful, and a very fruitful spiritual life. Thank you.
Once again, a heartfelt gratitude to Swami Sarvasthananda. Thank you so much for gracing us with your spiritual presence on this auspicious occasion. Thank you so much.